In Heian-era Kyoto, when fires swept through the capital without explanation, the blame fell not on arson or accident, but on something moving unseen through lantern-lit streets. A fox spirit, the Kitsune, was whispered to burn entire districts, corrupt emperors, and spread madness through the imperial court. But the strangest part is not that people believed it. It is why they needed to. The earliest whispers of the Kitsune drift from the pages of ancient compilations, where foxes slip between worlds as messengers, tricksters, and omens. In the Nihon Ryoiki, written around 822, a fox leaves a mysterious offering at a shrine, then vanishes into the undergrowth, an act that blurs the line between animal and deity. The Konjaku Monogatari, centuries later, expands the repertoire. A white fox, the Byakko, appears before a wandering priest bearing a luminous jewel in its mouth. The jewel, called Tama, becomes a sign of hidden wisdom and supernatural power, a motif that will echo through later tales of possession and disaster. Tales multiply with each retelling. 9 tales, in particular, come to stand for a fox age and potency, a visual shorthand that signals a being of immense magical force. The more tales, the greater the danger, or the blessing. In these stories, the fox is not yet the arsonist of cities, but a liminal figure, capable of blessing a harvest or testing the virtue of monks. Shape-shifting is a given. Foxes slip into the form of women, monks, even wandering nobles, their disguises so perfect that only a glint of fur or a flash of a tail gives them away. These early texts do not dwell on fire or vengeance. Instead, they offer a vocabulary of jewels, tales, and transformations, a narrative toolkit that later centuries will use to explain the inexplicable, to name the hidden forces behind sudden fortune or catastrophe. The anonymous white fox, neither wholly divine nor entirely bestial, stands at the threshold of myth and history, ready to be summoned as messenger, scapegoat, or destroyer. At the foot of Fushimi Inari's slopes, the world of the sacred fox becomes tangible. Paired stone foxes, carved with alert ears and watchful eyes, flank the entrance to Shinto shrines across Japan. One clasps a key in its jaws, the promise of access to the rice storehouse, the lifeblood of the community. The other holds a jewel, the Tama, said to contain hidden wisdom or the power to conjure abundance. Their bodies are draped in red yodarakake, cloth bibs that sway in the wind. The color is not chosen at random. Red wards off sickness and evil, and it also marks the fox as an honored intermediary set apart from the ordinary world. The ritual life of these shrines pulses with offerings. Fried tofu, aburage, is placed on small lacquered dishes. Shrine registers from the medieval period record this as the fox's favorite food, a custom that persists today and binds centuries together through a simple act of devotion. On festival days, priests and worshippers prepare kitsune udon, noodles in broth with tofu skin, and serve it in the shadow of the torii gates. Eating this meal is both an invitation and a gesture of respect, a way to nourish the unseen messengers who move between fields and spirit realms. Archaeological surveys reveal that these statues have guarded Inari's precincts since at least the Kamakura period, but the ritual gestures, offering tofu, tying bibs, whispering wishes, reach further back. Inari's fox is not an abstract symbol. It is present in stone, in cloth, in the flavor of a meal, woven into the daily fabric of those who seek favor or protection. Here, the fox spirit is not yet a threat, but a partner in the endless negotiation between humans and the divine. Night falls over Heian-kyo. In the narrow lanes of the Northwest Market, flames bloom in colors that defy ordinary fire, violet and blue, flickering at the edge of vision. The year is 1063. A court diarist records the scene with uneasy precision. On the night of the 15th day, a fire broke out in the Northwest Market. The flames were violet, and spectators whispered that foxes must have been present. Rumors ripple outward. Foxes, it is said, walk unseen among the stalls, their presence betrayed only by these unnatural lights. The word kitsunebi, fox fire, passes from mouth to mouth, growing sharper each time it is spoken. In the aftermath, the city's scholars search for explanations. Some turn to the marshes and storehouses, pointing to the rot beneath the thatched roofs. The Shinshaku Sho, a treatise from the late 13th century, proposes that ghostly fires rise from gases released by decaying wood and oil-soaked paper. Others speak of bioluminescent fungi blooming after rain, their glow mistaken for a fox's magic. Yet these rational voices fade against the power of what people have seen. The flames do not behave like ordinary fire. They move without wind, vanish without a trace, and always, someone claims, a fox was glimpsed before the blaze began. The gap between what is observed and what is believed widens. In the night markets and temple precincts, Kitsune becomes more than an optical puzzle. It is a warning, an omen that the world is not as stable as it appears, and that hidden forces may be at work, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. A fever grips the imperial palace. Emperor Kono, once vigorous, lies motionless, his skin burning with an illness no physician can name. Court whispers gather in the shadowed corridors, and some blame poison, while others speak of a curse. At last, the Onmyoji Abe no Saimei is summoned. His reputation as a master of hidden things precedes him. By candlelight, Saimei casts his divinations and finds his answer not in medicine, but in a dream. A woman with 9 white tails, her beauty unearthly, her presence suffused with an ancient malice. The court's gaze turns to Tamamo no Mei, the emperor's favored consort. She is renowned for her wit and flawless grace, but now Saimei's accusation hangs over her like a blade. The chronicles describe a ritual inquiry, with Saimei confronting Tamamo, reciting incantations and revealing her true form. In that moment, the illusion shatters. The elegant lady dissolves into a monstrous fox, tails fanned wide, eyes burning with a cold intelligence. Panic erupts. Guards seize their bows, and the fox flees the palace in a blur of gold and shadow. Hunters give chase across the Nasu plain. Arrows fly. The fox falls, but her body does not decay. Instead, it transforms into a stone, the Seisho Seki, the killing stone. For centuries, travelers avoid the stone, claiming its touch brings death. The legend endures, a fox spirit unmasked at the heart of power, leaving behind not only a cursed relic, but a warning. No throne is safe from what lurks beneath its own silken veils. Accusations of fox involvement became a kind of political shorthand in the Heian and medieval courts. When a noble fell ill or a faction lost favor, rumors of kitsune possession could circulate within days, sometimes even before a physician's diagnosis. Manuals from the Onmyodo tradition, such as the Onmyo Zorioki, catalogued fox spirits among the wild entities that could cross into the human world and disrupt order. The same texts outlined a standard exorcism kit: iron charms inscribed with protective incantations, ritual offerings of aburage, and the recitation of specific sutras. These procedures were not mere superstition. They served as legal protocols, invoked in court cases and enforced by magistrates. Legal records from the Edo period describe families fined or ostracized after a member was declared to suffer from kitsune tsuki, or fox possession. The symptoms ranged from fever and delirium to an aversion to tofu, a detail noted in medical treatises as kitsune disease. Onmyoji, the ritual specialists, would perform public exorcisms, sometimes at the demand of local officials, reinforcing the link between supernatural accusation and social control. In these episodes, the fox spirit became a tool for managing unrest, a way to name invisible threats and to justify intervention. The myth's power rested not only in the fear it inspired, but in its use as leverage. An accusation of kitsune involvement could shift blame, justify punishment, or rally a community against a perceived enemy. The line between spiritual danger and political maneuver was thin, and the fox's shadow lengthened wherever suspicion took root. Edicts issued by the Tokugawa shogunate in the mid-17th century drew sharp boundaries around the sacred and the suspect. In 1653, a ban on religious syncretism targeted the fusion of Buddhist Daikonitan and Shinto Inari worship, forcing shrine officials to strip fox iconography of its Buddhist elements. Statues once crowned with lotus petals or carrying ritual fans were recarved, their features hardened and their roles narrowed to that of Shinto messengers. The fox, once an ambiguous mediator, was recast in the public eye as a vessel for disorder, no longer a guardian, but a potential threat lurking at the edges of official religion. This policy did not stand alone. During the Meiji Restoration in 1868, a shrine purification campaign swept through the country, ordering the removal of Buddhist images from Shinto precincts and the reclassification of fox deities. Shrine records from that period show fox statues relabeled, Buddhist symbols chiseled away, and the phrase "Kitsune is guardian of the state" inscribed on new plaques. Yet in rural communities, suspicion lingered. The state's attempt to purify the fox's image could not erase centuries of popular fear. The fox was not the only supernatural being to undergo this institutional rebranding. The Tengu, once mountain deities and later branded as harbingers of rebellion, were similarly downgraded by official decree. Both fox and Tengu became warnings, their images repurposed to reinforce new hierarchies and suppress independent spiritual authority. Through these policies, the state did not simply regulate belief. It redrew the boundaries of the sacred, using the language of law to turn former protectors into convenient demons. Even now, a single rumor can ignite far more than fire. In every society, stories like the Kitsune reveal how belief shapes what and who we fear. The fox spirit's shadow lingers, a reminder. Sometimes it's not the flames but the stories we tell that consume a city. Share your thoughts below.